Hey guys, this is Type Force Reacts, and I am back to do something I haven't done in over a year, because the last time I did something like this, it was Gojo versus Makima, aka a very contentious matchup, if you remember that. And now I'm back with another contentious matchup. This is completely unscripted, but this is my prediction slash discussion about the upcoming death battle, which is coming out in less than a week. Bowser versus Eggman. So, this is a matchup that I have known about for quite some time now. But I don't think it really gained a lot of popularity until maybe Ganondorf versus Dracula came out, because yeah, what do you know? The episode with a character that Bowser fought turned out to have the second best episode of that season, and the only reason why it's the second best episode of the season is because All Might versus Might Guy exists, and it's right there. So yeah, but both Bowser and Eggman have been in death battles before, but Eggman got straight up cheated out of a victory because, oh, who would have thought a season one death battle episode was incorrect? And the other one was Bowser versus Ganon. And, well, people hate that one. Personally, I think it's overhated. I personally kind of like Bowser versus Ganon. It has its flaws, but yeah, look, I'm the kind of mindless consumer who watches Bowser and Ganondorf just smack like an energy ball like it's tennis, exactly like it's tennis in Bowser's case, and just clap and go, haha, funny. But anyway, but a lot of people also think Bowser was cheated out of a victory there too, and after looking up stats for Bowser, you can kind of see why. But Mario characters are notoriously inconsistent in terms of like versus battle standards, so you can kind of see where they were coming from. I kind of saw where it was coming from, but I was also rooting for Ganondorf, so I don't think I was probably the best person to consult about that kind of thing. So, yeah, still, part of me kind of likes Bowser versus Ganon, but I understand why people want Bowser in another death battle, so he can finally, have some actual respect. um, but yeah, and same thing with Eggman, really. Even though technically it was his robot that won, Metal Sonic. Um, Still, Eggman did die in that fight, and Metal Sonic was declared the victor, so it wasn't Eggman himself. So, and once Mario vs. Sonic 2 came out, and yeah, it's a very it was a very contentious verdict that they gave, especially that stupid stalactite feat. And but yeah, Bowser vs. Eggman like shot up in terms of popularity. I think around the time season 7 was coming out. Like I know season 6, I think that was when Ganondorf vs. Dracula came out. So once that came out, like Bowser versus Eggman shot up in popularity. Me personally, I didn't see the hype behind it at the time. Personally, I just kind of thought you guys just want a matchup so Bowser can have his run back, I guess. You just want Bowser to have a victory now, because yeah, and I personally did not take interest in that because let me put it this way. I might as well get this out of the way. Eggman is my favorite villain in all of video games, bar none. It's not even close. Yes, I am very biased. So maybe you can take my opinion with a grain of salt, but that doesn't mean I don't like Bowser. Bowser is really cool too. He's very fun when he's at his best. So yeah, all right. But yeah, to see like people want Bowser versus Eggman solely for Bowser to win at the time, at least that's the general vibe I got. I very much did not appreciate it, and thus I just didn't like the matchup all that much. But now over the years, now that I've looked further into the battle and everyone else has looked further into the battle, yeah, it turns out it's an incredibly close fight. Who would have thought? In fact, people are saying like it's one of the closest battles we've ever gotten, and yeah, it's very much a 49-51 kind of win-loss thing. Yeah, it's that kind of battle. So if Bowser wins, I'm not going to be surprised. If Eggman wins, nobody's really going to be surprised. It's very much going to be determined on what death battle like scales and what they take into account. And let me tell you, the waiting period between Joker versus Giorno and Bowser versus Eggman, it has been one of the most hilarious and yet atrocious waiting periods I have ever been in. Because on the one hand, the subreddit is flourishing because there's just so many people on both sides of the aisle, part of the Koopa troop or the Eggman Empire, and just take a look on the Death Battle subreddit, and it is amazing thing to see. But yeah, um, but at the same time, all of this hype is now it's now weighing me down. I cannot wait for Bowser versus Eggman. Is like I said, it's slowly grown on me over the years. To me, just not liking it because I um didn't think people legitimately wanted it for just Bowser versus Eggman. But now, thanks to the waiting period, and well, I mean, I did really like Bowser versus Eggman. Like going into like when season 11 was technically announced. More along the lines of the Kickstarter goal was announced, and hey, we're doing Bowser vs. Eggman. It's gonna be fully 2D, animated by Moro, and oh man, that's when I got really hyped for it. I had already kind of liked it before that, but now I'm just really hyped, and the more I keep looking into it, the more I hear about it, I'm like, oh, okay, I really want to see this. This is really good stuff, and yeah, it's been quite a waiting period of a very mixed waiting period of me just I really want to see this fight, and I'm having so much fun on the subreddit for the first time in over a year. Because let me put it this way, once season 10 ended, let me put when any season of Death Battle ends, there's a very long period of the subreddit where it's not dead, but it's a lot of dead memes. That's what I'm trying to get at here. And when Rooster Teeth shut down and Death Battle seemed to go along with it, oh, people were panicking on the subreddit. They're like, we don't want to live in this hell forever. But thankfully Death Battle came back, the Kickstarter was announced, and hey, Bowser vs. Eggman was one of the goals. And we also learned that Bowser vs. Eggman was going to be a season 10 episode, but it had to be pushed back because they needed more time to cook. And yeah, so I'm expecting season 10 level quality, guys. Because yeah, season 10 was the best season of Death Battle. It still is, but then again, we've only had 2 episodes of 2024 Death Battle. So it isn't really a competition at that point. But yeah, so anyway, Bowser versus Eggman. I might as well get into. I've been spending 8 minutes just rambling about the matchup and like the history of it all. Um, but I haven't really gotten into the connections each character has, and there really isn't any. Like, I mean, there are some like vague connections you can make here and there, but it's connections you can easily make with other characters. It's kind of like when you see a matchup, you're just like, why is that a thing? And then you look at this long list of connections, and you take a one look at the list of connections, like this is incredibly generic. It's like when I saw like someone wanting Saber from Fate versus Darth Vader from Star Wars, and I'm like, they're what? And then like someone provided an entire list of connections, and I'm like, I mean, I guess, but really? I mean, it made me kind of extremely happy just out of pure spite when the Tournament of Champions came along. I saw Luke Skywalker versus Saber from Fate. So yeah, because those that actually makes a bit more sense in my head. But either way, so yeah, Bowser vs. Eggman, they don't really have any connections other than they are the main villains of rival franchises. I say rival franchises because there's not much of a rivalry nowadays, but there was one in the 90s. I was not alive to see that rivalry, but I have heard the war stories. Um, but yeah, Sonic, like, Mario's always kind of been in my life a little bit. Like, I think my first experience, like, playing a Mario game was New Super Mario Bros. On the Wii at my friend's house. But one of my first ever video game experiences was at that same friend's house, and I played Sonic 2 on his Genesis. We never got past Chemical Plant. But I did really, really enjoy that game, so so I wanted to go out and buy a Sonic game of my own. Problem, I didn't have any gaming consoles besides a Nintendo Game Boy Advance, so yeah, I was kind of out of luck there. But then one Christmas, my parents got me a PlayStation 2, and so the first video game I ever bought with my own money was Sonic Heroes. In fact, I still have the no, no, I don't. Okay, maybe I mean it should be around here somewhere. I have my entire collection of PS2 games down here. Maybe I'll find Sonic Heroes in there if I look hard enough. But yeah, and I love Sonic Heroes to pieces. I accept it's not a perfect game. I know it isn't, but I still love it to pieces. I only was able to complete like the Team Rose portion of the story mode. I did get pretty far with the other with the other teams, but I wasn't able to complete any of them, so I never got to the final story. I experienced that via the magic of YouTube. So yeah, but yeah, that's my whole history with like both franchises. But yeah, in terms of connections, Bowser vs. Eggman doesn't really have any, other than what I've stated. Um, but the matchup becomes incredibly interesting because of it, because these two operate very differently. And okay, might as well get into the prediction aspect. And since this isn't because let me put it this way: if this was just Bowser and just Eggman, it wouldn't really be a fight. Bowser would absolutely wallop any of Eggman's mechs. It's not really a close fight, especially when you throw in stuff like Dreamy Bowser and like Fury Bowser. But then again, Fury Bowser did require outside help, so who knows if they would even include that if it was just a 1v1. But regardless, even if they gave Eggman like the Chaos Emeralds or anything like that, which he doesn't normally have, and through normal death battle rules, Eggman wouldn't really get Chaos Emeralds because they're not a normal part of his moves, not a normal part of his arsenal. So, but yeah, if it was just Bowser versus Eggman, it wouldn't really be that big of a fight. But they are including their armies, and they listed out a set of rules like that, what they were going to do with this fight. And one thing is they're including everything for both of them except for Archie Sonic, of course, and apparently Coon, which is apparently like a Mario manga or something like that. I've never heard of it, so but yeah, I think that was the big point. We're not including Archie Eggman. So yeah. But the fact that they are still including like Paper Mario kind of terrified me at the time, because if you don't know, Paper Mario is kind of known for getting cosmic. So if that was the case, then why aren't they giving Eggman Archie stuff? Because Death Battle is kind of notoriously known for underscaling Sonic characters, and the only Sonic character recently they didn't underscale was Silver, and that was because it was Archie Silver. And I guess Shadow from Shadow versus Ryuko wasn't really all that underscaled, but it was. But let me put it this way: that was the first time we got a light speed argument for a Sonic character. Everything previously, no, he does. Like Sonic characters don't get the light speed. What are you talking about? It's that kind of thing. But thankfully, thanks to the previews. The previews were excellent, by the way. Go watch them. We do know that Eggman is getting scaled properly this time with like the final egg blaster, whatever I think that was called, blowing up an entire constellation. Basically, well, not a constellation; it was a cluster of stars. But you get what I mean. Um, that's still very impressive, and just all this other stuff. And so, yeah, we have a lot of faith that Eggman is going to get properly scaled. We don't know how high because yeah, we started really small, and when I say started really small, we went from oh yeah, his Death Egg Robos pack a nuke with every laser they fire. So yeah, we're talking about that kind of scale here. But anyway, um, since it's going to come down to their armies, we might as well discuss their armies first. And in terms of general minions like Goombas, Koopas, Paratroopas, and then we got Motobugs and like all the other ones. Motobugs are really the only Sonic like little minions that I know that I remember the names of. But um yeah, in terms of that, I mean, I guess there's egg pawns too. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. In terms of their various armies, I do think Bowser has a very slight advantage, and the only reason I say slight is because, um, he has a massive versatility advantage when it comes to his army. Eggman's like minion army is kind of one note at the end of the day. They're a bunch of metal. They slice. They like shoot projectiles. It's it's very generic kind of stuff. But Bowser's got like piranha plants, like Goombas that can fly, Koopas that can fly, and just a whole like piranha plants that can shoot fire, and just all this other stuff. Um, so yeah, in terms of pure versatility, I'd have to give it to Bowser. But in terms of this kind of fight, versatility isn't going to really matter all that much. Both Bowser and Eggman have ways of just replenishing their armies, so it's not really going to come down to a fight over whose like minions are going to be better anyway. So it's going to come down to like what the subreddit has like their top generals. In this case, like there's three of them for each that have been given major attention, and we might as well start with Bowser, and let's start with Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. Yeah, he's not as strong as Bowser, but he can like somewhat scale to him. Apparently, like in one of the Mario and Luigi games, like they apparently spar a whole lot. So yeah, that's fun time. And in terms and in but we also have yeah, Bowser Jr. also has like the magic paintbrush, which and he can also turn Bowser into Fury Bowser through that. So yeah, there's a whole lot of lore there. Um, then there's Kamek, who can just a whole lot of stuff with his magic. Turn Bowser big, revive Bowser from the dead. Just a whole bunch of stuff, magic stuff that he can do with his wand. We aren't really sure if there's like an upper limit of what we aren't really sure what's in his entire arsenal, but we know there's quite a lot. Just a lot of stuff to like buff. Like Kamek is going to be the ultimate support in this kind of fight. He's not going to be doing a whole lot of damage himself, but he is going to be providing people with the ability to do major damage. And then there's excuse me, the character the subreddit has been going nuts for, and that's King Boo, who was the main villain in Luigi's Mansion, but King Boo has made other appearances before. He can like turn people into paintings. He can make copies of Bowser to possess himself. He can possess machines. That kind of thing. And then there's okay. And just a whole lot of stuff there. And for Eggman's top three generals, we'll start with Metal Sonic, of course. He won that death battle between Eggman and Wily. Why wouldn't he win here? But either way, like he very much scales to modern Sonic, and yeah, um makes sense. I'm trying to think of something to say, sorry. But yeah, he also has the ability to copy, people's life form data. And if he copies enough of it, he can transform into Neo Metal Sonic, and which is one of the most cool looking forms ever. But once he copies enough life form data after that, he can transform into Metal Overlord, which is it's certainly a design, I'll give it that. But it's also one of the most dangerous things because it was able to match like Supersonic as well as Supersonic empowering, Tails and Knuckles with that same super energy. So he might as well have been fighting multiple super forms and was able to hold his own. In fact, Supersonic, Team Supersonic, I should probably say, wasn't able to damage Metal Overlord unless they hit it with everything they had all together at once. So yeah, that's kind of a big deal. Um, but yeah, Metal Sonic is easily like he's probably going to be like the dark horse of this fight because yeah, his ability to copy life form data. He was even able to copy Shadow's chaos control, and Shadow can't perform chaos control without an emerald, but Metal was able to copy that, and he can use chaos control without an emerald. That's freaky. So yeah, then we have let's see, Infinite. Infinite's a bit newer to the franchise, plus people are probably going to argue whether Infinite should even be here or not, but people can also make that argument for King Boo if he should be here or not, so might as well include Infinite in this equation. And Infinite was probably not really the main antagonist of Sonic Forces, but he was the one who's advertised as the main antagonist in Sonic Forces. So, yeah, he has the Phantom Ruby, which I don't have the Wikipedia in front of me. I can't name every single thing that stupid Ruby can do, but it can create, like, not really illusions, but it manipulates reality. Let me put it that way. He can transport you into an alternate dimension. He can create clones. Like, and here's the thing, perfect clones. That's the big thing. He can create perfect clones of Shadow, Chaos, Zavok, just a whole just pretty much all of Sonic's like past foes. Infinite can just recreate them and create an army of them, and that was like the big climactic battle during Sonic Forces. But like I said, who cares about Sonic Forces? Even though Infinite is very powerful, he has a big weakness of he doesn't want to seem weak. You know, he's very cringe kind of edgelord. He was not cool kind of edgelord like Shadow is. And what do you know? It was Shadow who put him down in the first place to gain him that complex. So yeah, but yeah, Infinite is going to be like the main source, like, you know, recreating Eggman's armies every time, like, you know, they're wiped out. Simply because he could just provide them, you know, Phantom Ruby clones and just, yeah, get a lot of heavy hitters on the field all at once. So yeah, enough talking about Infinite. I don't want to talk about Infinite any more than anyone else does. So let's go over the newest member of Eggman's troop, and really the newest member of, and really just, yeah, okay, I'm prattling. I need to get ahead of myself. So this is Sage. She is his daughter. Technically, she's an AI created by him. Really, she was introduced in Sonic Frontiers, aka not the newest Sonic game. Sonic X Shadow Generations has come out now. It's a great game, by the way. Go check it out. But anyway, Sage, it's kind of unknown, like if she can accomplish the kind of feats she does outside of cyberspace, because literally all of Sonic Frontiers is within like the Starfall Islands, which houses cyberspace, which is an alternate dimension, like completely created out of, like, you know, the energy of the ancients, which Sage was able to basically hack into, and that's how she can appear all over the place, because technically the whole island that Sonic's running around on isn't, it is real, but it's kind of a weird dimensional thing. So it's very unknown if Sage can perform a lot of the feats she usually can while it's outside of Starfall Islands, like teleportation, you know, telekinesis, you know, that kind of thing. But it is known that she can just hack into a whole lot of like very advanced technology, and this includes like the Titans. And who even knows that they're going to include the Titans in this argument? But might as well take them into account. These Titans were threats to Supersonic, or at least they required Supersonic for Sonic to take them down. And but the main one I think they might focus on is Supreme, aka the final Titan of the game, and that's because Sage directly hacked into it and fought alongside Supersonic in the final battle against the End. So, yeah, and one thing is that Eggman did mention, like, you know, introducing Sage to the Eggnet, which is basically the giant like interconnection between all of Eggman's robots. So Sage could so most likely Sage has been put into the Eggnet so she can control like every robot all at once. So yeah, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it for Sage. I'll get into like how these three. I might as well get into why these three generals each are going to, you know, battle each other. Might as well. In terms of Bowser Jr. versus Sage, might as well get the son versus daughter argument out of the way. I don't think Bowser Jr. is going to stand much of a chance against Sage, mainly because all of Bowser Jr.'s main weapons are technological. Like Bowser Jr. has like a paintbrush over. I think it was originally created by Dr. Egad, but it's very much a technology based instrument. Sage can just hack into it. Bowser Jr. has an assortment of mechs that he's used mainly throughout Mario Galaxy, but Sage can just hack into that and just disable them that way. That kind of thing. Plus, I don't think anyone other than maybe King Boo has an inherent advantage against Sage, because Sage isn't really a real person. I say that, but she very clearly has her own thoughts and feelings. She might as well be a person. But the point is, she doesn't have a physical body to take hold of. There's nothing for her to really there's nothing for her to really get hit by, really, unless you attack her AI directly, which is not an easy feat. And I don't think anyone in Bowser's army has a method for doing that other than King Boo, who has been able to hack into technology before. But taking over a machine is very different from Sage being able to just hack ancient technology that was able to create an entire dimension. So I don't think King Boo is really up to snuff for that kind of thing. So yeah, for all we know, that's how King Boo gets taken out. He tries to go into the Eggnet system itself, but Sage is like, no, and just flicks him out. And yeah, and plus King Boo, I did not mean to switch from Bowser Jr. to King Boo, but that's just kind of how outmatched Bowser Jr. is in that kind of scenario. But either way, so yeah, King Boo, and plus Bowser has been known to sorry, Eggman. Eggman has been known to capture ghosts before, and I think he did like Sonic 3. I think it was at Sandopolis. I think I heard, but I'll try to find it later. You'll see the screen up here, but yeah, and it should, and plus, yeah, Sonic is not unfamiliar with ghosts, the concept of ghosts, so Eggman should be able to take care of King Boo. Plus, Boos by themselves are apparently can be killed by light, but like I said, Mario is a very inconsistent franchise when it comes to this, inner machinations kind of stuff. So, but what we do know is that they can be destroyed. It just has to be through yeah, it's a very weird thing. But yeah, so King Boo can just be captured in like a capsule, or maybe he can, or maybe like just hit with light. And I do believe in Super Mario World, I think it is, wherever King Boo, like at least a giant Boo, I think that's been labeled King Boo before, but I'm not sure if that's actually King Boo, so you can correct me on this. But there is like a moment in that game where Mario can just pick up a brick and hit King Boo with it. Boos are not entirely intangible, at least not all the time. So I do think that sorry, that Eggman could easily find a way around King Boo, especially if he has Sage helping him. So yeah. Then we got Bowser Jr. Then I might as well just keep discussing Bowser Jr. Metal Sonic is, like I said, he's going to be the dark horse on this fight, because his ability to copy bioenergy. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't discuss Bowser Jr. It's probably brought up Kamek. So he could probably just copy Kamek's magic. Like that, because yeah, he's copied chaos energy before, so there isn't really any reason to assume he can't, like, Metal can't just copy Kamek's magic and use it against him. So, and since Kamek's not really a fighter, like the moment like Kamek gets any kind of attention, and Eggman's gonna know when Kamek starts doing his thing and like becoming a real threat. Metal is probably just gonna copy Kamek's bio data and just knock him out of the fight entirely. Um, but yeah, because Metal is really that overpowered. He has been kind of treated like a bit of fodder in recent years, because yeah, I guess if that's what you want to do, Sega, that's what you're gonna do. Um, but yeah, then but yeah, since we are get okay, I'll get into like other stuff like the Chaos Emeralds and stuff later. But yeah, then it comes to Bowser Jr. Like I said, Bowser Jr. doesn't really have a lot of things to do in this fight. Like, maybe he can fight Metal for a bit, but that's not really going to last with Metal's biodata copying ability. And yeah, so basically what I'm saying is, like, Bowser's three main generals that we're going with, they are very powerful in their own right, but I just think they're outmatched by Eggman's generals here. At least in that particular case, it's very much equality measurement, and I do believe Eggman has the advantage in that kind of front. And Sage, in particular, as the support of this, she's not going to be entering the fight unless they give her Supreme. Yeah, like I said, she's probably, or King Boo tries to, invade the egg net, which I don't even know if that's going to be a thing, but it would be funny to see. But yeah, Sage in particular is going to be very helpful, and I'll be discussing her later on as we talk about Eggman versus Bowser themselves. Like I said, if it came down to just this 1v1 between Eggman and Bowser, I don't think Eggman would stand a chance, even if they gave him like Chaos Emeralds and stuff like that. But now that they are, and now that they're including both armies, this has become a very interesting fight. This is because it's going to be a very, Bowser brute forcing his way through all of them. And here's the thing, Bowser, he's not dumb. He may appear to be dumb, but he's not that dumb. But he does rely more on his muscles than he does his brain. And yeah, and Eggman has a lot of experience duping those kinds of people. Knuckles. Anyway, so it wouldn't surprise me if Eggman was just able to outsmart him in a fight, but I don't think outsmarting Bowser would have been enough had it not been for Sage. And here's the thing about Sage that I don't think I mentioned earlier. She can run literally millions of calculations within seconds. She is very much she's capable of planning ahead better than pretty much anybody else in this entire battle. So if it came down to it, and here's the thing, she knew that the only way Eggman was going to make it off the Starfall Islands alive and intact, he would have to team up with Sonic to do it and, fight the end that way. And while Eggman was very reluctant to do that, understandably so, all he wants to do is kill Sonic, he did eventually succumb to his daughter's, very much persistence and like, okay, fine, Sonic, here's a Chaos Emerald, go take care of that thing, whatever, that kind of thing. But that's really the only reason he's hesitant to listen to Sage about that is because he didn't want to team up with Sonic. That's not going to happen. This is a very different case, and I do believe that's something a lot of people are overlooking, is that, yes, Eggman does get very full of himself, and yeah, that's one of his big weaknesses, and personally, I do consider that a big weakness. Eggman can get very overconfident when he's in the zone, and just not pay attention. But I think Sage can act. But personally, I think Sage can act as a countermeasure. She's going to, come up with a calculation to, here's what you need to do. You need to do this, or else you will die. That kind of thing. And so Eggman is definitely going to be more likely to listen to her than if he were, than if it were a situation where he has to team up with Sonic to do it. So, yeah, that's the thing about Eggman's overconfidence. It's really only when dealing with Sonic. Because when it comes to anyone but Sonic and his friends, yeah, Eggman gets brutal. Just ask Dr. Starline here. Yeah, you don't want to deal with that kind of Eggman who has planned ahead for this kind of thing. And not to mention, Eggman can just do all this without risking himself on the battlefield. And while Bowser can create clones of himself, like through various means, like King Boo creating a Bowser clone, or maybe even Kamek creating a Bowser clone, or hell, the Double Cherry power-up from Super Mario World. Wait, not Super Mario 3D World, sorry. To just clone Bowser. Bowser, like I said, Bowser is very much a punch first, ask questions later kind of guy. So he's really only going to be using those things as pure offense. Eggman, on the other hand, has his own like clones, like Metal can imitate Eggman's appearance himself, but Eggman also has his own like bots that can operate, as like while looking like him. Even his egg pawns can operate Eggman's own machinery. Eggman himself does not have to be on the battlefield in order to win this fight. Or rather, he kind of has to, like he has to get his hands dirty eventually. That's kind of going to be how this thing goes, because we're giving him literally everything, even one-off things that wouldn't be in a normal death battle. So that means we're giving him the Chaos Emeralds. We're probably going to be giving him the Master Emerald. We're probably going to be giving him like the Jewel Scepter from Sonic Rush. Which literally holds the dimension, Sonic's dimension and the Soul dimension together. So yeah, we're getting multiversal here. And yeah, Bowser does have his own like multiversal statements, with defeating Dimentio from Super Paper Mario, and really a whole lot of other other Paper Mario stuff, like maybe the Star Rod, which grants him invincibility. But like I said, when it comes to their hacks, like through like the various things, I do think they're fairly equal in that kind of regard. But it is going to come down to I believe like Super Eggman, or Light Man as he's called, versus maybe like Dreamy Bowser or Fury Bowser, maybe even like Nightmare Eggman from. I think it was a very recent Sonic game. I know I can't Sonic like. Yeah, I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name of the game, but he has like his own nightmare form, like maybe Nightmare Eggman versus Dreamy Bowser, just a whole bunch of stuff. Like I said, I think they do kind of cancel each other out, but I do believe that at the end of the day, if it came right down to it, Eggman's generals would win over Bowser's generals. Without Bowser's generals there on the field, it's just going to be Bowser as a threat. And maybe we'll have like Metal Overlord, maybe even Master Overlord, because in the IDW comics, because they have confirmed that they are included in the IDW comics. Once Neo Metal Sonic got his hands on the Master Emerald, he became Super Neo Metal Sonic, and then once he copied Shadow's lifeform data, that's the only one he needed. He became Master Overlord and was a threat to literally the entire cast. Blaze had to go Burning Blaze to fight him, and even then, they were only able to defeat Master Overlord because they managed to pull the Master Emerald out of him. Because yeah, Knuckles can do that. And once they were able to do that, he was defeated fairly quickly. But like I said, Metal has been taking L's in these recent years, which is a shame because he is very powerful. But yeah, I think it's ultimately like maybe Master Overlord versus Bowser, and maybe like Bowser goes Fury Bowser or Dream Bowser and just demolishes Metal Sonic. Because if there's one person I think is probably going to defeat Metal Sonic, it's going to be Bowser. And yeah, that's really really all she wrote. But yeah, I do think with his three generals alive, then like Infinite comes in, like I do think they would be able to wear down Bowser enough for Eggman, or at least hold off Bowser long enough for Eggman to come up with a plan to like maybe like rip the Dreamstone out of Bowser, or like wait out the Fury mode for Bowser, for Fury Bowser, if that's a thing. I don't know. I haven't really looked into Fury Bowser all that much, but I do know there's like a waiting period in between. Like I don't know. I don't know, but I do know if you beat down Fury Bowser enough, he's going to revert back to his old self. So at least I think that's the case. I'm not an expert on this kind of stuff. At least when it comes to like Bowser's like ultimate forms, because I didn't really play the Mario and Luigi games. I did play a bit of like Superstar Saga, but I didn't really go further than that. Um, but yeah, then there's but yeah, like I said, if Eggman can like stick with a plan that Sage puts in front of him, and I do think that's very likely the case since it doesn't involve Sonic in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Um, Eggman does have everything he needs to win this fight, and it's not going to be an easy fight. Let me put it that way. Let me get that out of the way for you right now. This is not an easy fight. I'm going to be saying it's a very straightforward victory for Eggman if he follows a plan, but I am by no means saying it's going to be easy. If he has, like I said, like maybe he can rip the Dreamstone from Bowser, like he ripped the Chaos Emeralds out of Super Sonic and Sonic Unleashed, but that's also very risky because maybe that's not even how that works. Maybe that, like I said, it all comes down to interpretation. It's all going to come down to who if Bowser is going to just brute force his way through all of Eggman's plans, all of his schemes, or if Eggman's going to find that one golden opportunity to take down Bowser. And I do believe, with Sage's help, Eggman has the most likely case for winning. Like I said, it's not an easy fight. Bowser's going to give him a hell of a time. Maybe Infinite and Metal Sonic are not going to survive this fight. But as long as Sage is there, and I don't think Bowser has any means of dealing with Sage other than maybe using his own hacks, but even then, who even knows if he's going to find out about Sage? Sage can just keep herself hidden and just, if Bowser doesn't know Sage exists, then what's he going to do about her? That's the kind of thing we're dealing with here. So I do believe that it's more likely that with Sage's help, Eggman will take the W. That's at least my interpretation of events. Like I said, it's 51-49. This is a very close fight, and it's all going to come down to interpretation. Do you think Dreamy Bowser scales above Lightman? Do you think Lightman scales above Fury Bowser or Dreamy Bowser? Do you think Nightmare Eggman is going to come into the fight? Who knows? This is a very tense and frustrating matchup. So, yeah, like I said, and man, the subreddit has been so nice to be on, because not only do you find a lot of people who support your ideas, honestly, it's been nice being the Eggman Empire, because the Koopa Troops have been very nice to us. They're just like, yes, we know Sonic has been downplayed throughout these years. We are not going to accept the victory if they downplay your franchise again. That kind of thing. People brought up the stalactite feat from previous death battles, like Mario vs. Sonic 2 and Metal Sonic vs. Zero, and they were like, the stalactite feat, my beloved. And a whole bunch of Koopa Troops who were replying, yeah, if they bring up that feat, we're not accepting the victory. It's been really nice, being in the presence of this fandom. I don't think there's ever been a time on the subreddit where I have felt welcomed, even though I am not on, the side that they are rooting for. So, yes, while I am rooting and betting on Eggman, let me put it this way, this is not a slight against Bowser. I want to make that very clear. I love Bowser, and, and his fans on the internet have been very welcoming and accommodating, and I love them for their support. But that is my general hypothesis at the end of the day, is that Eggman has the more likely outcome of winning, but it is an extremely close fight. It's not going to be easy. Bowser's going to give him a hell of a time. He's going to give him a run for his money, but Eggman at the end of the day, I feel, can do this. And I don't really want to keep saying what I've been saying for the past 10 minutes, it feels like, but it's not going to be easy. Like I said, if Bowser still wins at the end of the day, I'm not going to be shocked. I am going to be sad because my favorite video game villain of all time lost. But this is like I said, I'm not going to be surprised. I'm not going to be shocked. I'm not going to complain because, yeah, unless they really screw up a feat or two, that gives Bowser the win and really downplays Eggman, I'm not gonna complain. But yeah, I've been doing nothing but rant for 45 minutes because I have very strong feelings about this matchup because, yeah, like I said, this matchup has grown on me over the years. I have gone from hating this matchup because it just sounded like a spite matchup to kind of liking the matchup because, okay, alright, I can see why it would be interesting, to loving the matchup because, okay, yeah, I kind of want to see this now, to, oh my gosh, I've never been so hyped for a death battle in my life. Because, yeah, this has been one of the most amazing, waiting periods I've ever been a part of, as well as excruciating, because it is still a waiting period, and I am hyped for the battle that I'm waiting for. But, yeah, anyway, I've been prattling on for way too long. I will see you all in my reaction to the episode. Hopefully you all will enjoy it. So, yeah, I've got nothing else to say, so I'm just going to end the video here. So, yeah, till next time, guys. See ya.